This book is free and may not be resold. By David Grieseffi, shock corrective exercise kinesiologist, golf biomechanic certified nutrition and lifestyle coach, www.flattenerabs.net. The Stubborn Fat Solution. By Dave Grieseffi. Stubborn fat, does it affect you? Everyone walking the face of this earth has an abundance of fat cells throughout their bodies. In fact, if you're a healthy adult with normal body composition, you have approximately 30 billion fat cells. This is an astronomical number when you think about it. Did you ever wonder why you have so many? Have you ever wondered what those fat cells are for? Fat cells are genetically programmed. The answer is, fat cells are part of our genetic code and they enable us to use stored energy when food is scarce. This survival mechanism works very much the same today as it did 10,000 years ago. However, there is an abundance of food in modern society today, and we no longer need to store so much fat to survive. When you consume too many calories, your body goes into storage mode for the lean times, so to speak, but the lean time never comes. So your body simply stores those extra calories as fat. When you eat fewer calories than your body demands, your cells release stored fat for energy. Pretty simple equation. However, not all fat is the same. Placement of fat deposits in your body. The placement of fat deposits on our bodies varies depending on each person's genetic influences, lifestyle choices, and nutritional intake. Men tend to store their body fat around their bellies and chest. Women tend to store it around their hips, buttocks, thighs, and the backs of their arms. A complete discussion of hormones and fat storage is beyond the scope of this article, but let it suffice to say that certain hormonal processes do determine body fat distribution. The primary factor in failing to lose fat. Many people who attempt to lose body fat fail to account for one major factor, a stumbling block to long-term success. They approach fat loss and fitness with great enthusiasm and determination, and, with this attitude, they lose body fat and feel great. Even so, they just can't seem to get rid of all the fat they want to. They lose fat successfully for a time, but ultimately get stuck just before all of the fat is completely gone. This is commonly known as a plateau, and this phenomenon causes many people who were previously successful to lose their enthusiasm and return to their old ways. When old habits take over again, and this happens to the majority of dieters, the body fat comes back with a vengeance. This is due to programming of the fat cell. Each time you try to lose body fat again, it seems to take longer and require more effort. The solution to stubborn fat. So what is the real solution? It's simple. You must understand how fat cells work and how to move past the plateau phenomenon and lose the last bit of body fat, what we call stubborn fat. I have worked with many clients and I would say most of them have a good amount of stubborn body fat. This fat is literally programmed to be very difficult to lose. It seems to remain on our bodies no matter what we do, hence the phrase stubborn fat. Most modern diets and weight loss programs seem to work in the beginning, but they never really address this crucial part of fat loss, the last bit of stubborn fat. Stubborn fat, does it affect you? Your hormones and stubborn fat. Stubborn fat develops when your hormonal pathways are broken down. Age does play a role in this. Fat deposits increase and become more resistant to fat loss methods as you get older. This you have little control over, but some things that lead to stubborn fat development are under your control. Yo-yo dieting is one of them. Losing weight on crash diets and then regaining it, often known as the rebound effect, only increase stubborn fat in the long run. A decrease in exercise and activity level also compounds the stubborn fat problem. This is why people who crash diet on low calories and refuse to exercise often have the worst stubborn fat problems of all. Our ancestors really never had to deal with this problem because they moved and engaged in physical labor as a regular part of daily life, whereas technological conveniences and the modern lifestyle have caused many of us to become lazy and inactive. Stubborn fat is metabolized extremely slowly and resists the hormonal process that takes place when the fat-burning process starts up. To burn fat, the adrenal hormones, better known as adrenaline and noradrenaline, attach to the fat cell receptors and essentially open them up, so the fat can be used in the energy pathways. There are two kinds of receptors in your fat cells, one is alpha and the other beta. The beta receptors are much more active and respond to adrenal hormones. To lose body fat, the adrenal hormones switch on and the body begins to use fat as energy. However, in the case of people with stubborn fat, this does not occur, so no body fat is lost. According to my good friend and colleague Ori Hofmkeller, author of The Warrior Diet, stubborn fat has a lower ratio of beta receptors to alpha receptors. Therefore, your body's hormonal, fat dissolver, adrenaline, is unable to enter the fat cell and open the door. Hofmkeller also points out that, to make these matters worse, stubborn fat has more estrogen receptors, which cause even more stubborn fat. If all this sounds bad enough, what makes it even worse is that if you indulge in the typical modern diet and sedentary lifestyle, stubborn fat, does it affect you? This often results in insulin sensitivity. For more information, read my past article on insulin sensitivity. On top of everything else, your fat tissue becomes so incredibly resistant to your attempts to lose it, it seems like you will be stuck with it forever. Why dieting alone doesn't work? Diets fail because they only look at the caloric reduction side of the equation. You need to understand the other variables in the equation: exercise and lifestyle. You must understand the deeper issues you are really dealing with. Getting rid of stubborn fat is not nearly as simple as just slashing calories and dieting. Stubborn fat is the result of a complex interplay of biological and hormonal processes, all of which are affected by how you eat, how you move, and the type of lifestyle you lead. The crucial question, now that you understand why you have stubborn fat, right down to the hormone and receptor level, the question is, how do you alter your nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle to get rid of this resistant body fat? The answer is revealed in part 2. Read on. For Dave Gryzoffi. The New Beginning. Differences between men and women. When it comes to the physical makeup of men versus women, many differences are obvious. Men, on average, are 10–15% larger than women, weigh 20% more, and are 30% stronger, especially when considering upper body strength. Testosterone is one of the major hormones active in men's bodies. Testosterone stimulates muscle enlargement and bone growth and also raises the level of red blood cells in a man's bloodstream. Men also produce more HGH, human growth hormone. What you may not know, however, is that all of these factors combine to make oxygen much more available to a man's cells than a woman's cells. That means a man could be working at 50% of his capacity during physical activity, but a woman would need to work at 70% of her capacity to keep up. It's not as easy for her cells to absorb oxygen. This is due partly because women have a smaller percentage of lean tissue, muscle, organs, etc., and a much higher percentage of body fat. Though this is detrimental in a short sprint, a higher percentage of fat means that women can power their cells longer from their body's reserves without stopping to eat or drink in order to refuel. This may translate into greater endurance. Studies comparing men and women in running, swimming, and speed skating have shown that the differences in time versus distance decreased between men and women as the length of the event progressed. Hundreds of studies have showed some interesting differences between men and women in nearly every area. Looking through the research, you would discover all kinds of facts such as how much more likely women are to wear a seatbelt than men, 2 times more likely, to how often they are the sexual initiators in a monogamous relationship, 65% of the time. As interesting as those facts may be, let's concentrate on the differences between men and women that affect women's physical fitness. These differences are primarily found in the functioning of a woman's hormones and the construction and function of her fat cells. These two factors influence everything from the way a woman's metabolism functions to how likely she is to suffer from stubborn fat and other health-related diseases such as osteoporosis. Two types of enzymes that affect fat storage. Although the construction of male and female fat cells is basically the same, they differ vastly when it comes to size and function. To begin with, women's fat cells are 5 times larger than men's. In addition, not only are women's cells capable of holding more fat, they are genetically programmed to do so. It all comes down to enzymes: lipogenic fat-storing enzymes, lipolytic fat-releasing enzymes. Even though these enzymes are present in both men and women, women's bodies have 2 times the number of lipogenic, fat-storing, enzymes, and only half the number of lipolytic, fat-releasing, enzymes. This is the genetic legacy of women's role as the childbearing gender of the species. Nature wanted to ensure that women carried enough fat cells to nurture their growing babies and to breastfeed them after they were born. A baby in utero requires the mother to burn at least 300 extra calories a day, and breastfeeding can require as much as 500 extra calories. The new beginning. In addition to supplying the normal caloric needs of a baby, our foremothers also stored extra body fat in case of drought or famine. This extra fat was stored in the hips, thighs, and buttocks. Therefore, the females who survived famine and drought passed down their genes with the women whose bodies were adept at storing fat. Skinny thighs in the past were a serious liability, serving only to increase the risk of death when food supplies became scarce. These enzymes tend to be balanced in a healthy person. Too much of either type develops an unbalanced system and leads to insulin resistance, a prime contributor to stubborn fat. Other contributors to stubborn fat are estrogenic compounds called xenoestrogens. These chemicals are a byproduct of fertilizers, plastics, soy isoflavones, certain herbs, and petroleum products. These compounds in our food and water supply mimic estrogenic functions and aid in binding to estrogenic fat receptors. This produces induced aromatase influence. Aromatase is an enzyme that helps convert androgens, male hormone, to estrogenic compounds. When this occurs, it enhances the production of estrone, which is the main culprit in stubborn fat gain in both men and women. Look at many children today and you can see that they have taken on some very feminized features such as breast fat. Identifying estrogenic compounds to benefit from a program that reduces stubborn fat, you must first recognize that estrogenic compounds are all around us, and in us. To combat this problem, you should look at the food you consume and the liquids you drink, as there are many culprits that cause stubborn fat gain. You move in the direction of gaining stubborn fat when you develop bad eating and lifestyle habits, which cause insulin resistance, a toxic overburden on the liver, and elevated estrogen. These all contribute to fat that will not go away. 2. The new beginning. Open these cells. You should start by heading down the food chain. Minimize or eliminate all refined foods, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, preferably organic, and exercise. In Part 3, you will learn more specifically about how to get this stubborn fat out of your life forever. The solution: your hormones can contribute to stubborn fat. As you know from reading Parts 1 and 2, your hormones can be a liability when it comes to getting rid of stubborn body fat. For example, the hormone estrogen has a unique relationship with the fat cell. Fat cells can release signals that enable your body to synthesize estrogen and to regulate the reproductive cycle. In turn, estrogen affects fat cells. An influx of extra estrogen into the body from food sources can cause fat cells to grow and become stubborn. A similar situation occurs during pregnancy and in mothers who are breastfeeding, as these cause the fat cells in the body to swell so that they are able to absorb and store more fuel. Estrogen tells them that they need to stock up on extra fat, so the fat cells prepare to do so. This is why many women gain weight when starting birth control pills or when entering menopause, when levels of progesterone fall and estrogen becomes the dominant hormone. Estrogenic foods also affect men most of the time. Women have a more difficult time losing body fat than men. However, men are quickly catching up in this day and age because of estrogenic foods they consume in our modern Western society, rife with environmental pollution and refined foods. Ironically, one reason women have a harder time, the solution, with fat loss than men is because, at any given time, women are more likely to be on a severely restricted diet to attain the coveted thinness that's been established as a standard of beauty and attractiveness in our culture. How dieting affects fat storage. Unfortunately, severe and prolonged dieting shuts down the metabolism, sending the body into starvation mode. The fat cells begin sending out even more fat-storing enzymes and a significantly smaller amount of fat-releasing enzymes. Because the fat cells are afraid of being starved to death and depleted of their stores, they will hold on to the fat they have to the best of their ability, causing the body to start burning lean muscle mass to get the amount of fuel it needs. Lean muscle mass, located in the skeletal muscles and the organ systems, is the metabolically active part of the body. This means that after the diet is over and your body is out of starvation mode, your metabolism will still not function as well as before the diet, because you have lost some of your muscle mass, which was the engine driving your metabolism. In addition, the effects of restrictive dieting on your fat-storing and releasing enzymes can be permanent. Though the levels will return closer to a normal level after the diet, the fat-releasing enzymes will almost always be at a slightly lower level than before the diet, and the fat-storing enzymes will almost always be at a slightly higher level. Even worse, the effects are cumulative. This means that after each successive bout of dieting, it will be harder and harder for you to lose fat and control your weight for the long term. Don't panic, there's a solution. It sounds hopeless, but it's not, so don't panic. This doesn't mean that you're stuck with unwanted fat and excess weight for the rest of your life. It only means that you don't have to diet anymore. Even if you tortured yourself with deprivation diets that left you hungry, anxious, and unhappy in the past, what we know about hormones, enzymes, and fat cells can actually be great news. You can lose your unwanted fat through good old-fashioned nutrition, calorie burning, and metabolism-stimulating exercise and anti-estrogenic foods. What I suggest to you is not a magic bullet solution, and if you've been a long-term chronic dieter, it might take a lot longer to lose the amount of fat you want to lose. But by putting an end to the quick results, crash diet approach and taking the weight loss gradually, you will not only avoid the feelings of deprivation that sabotage many diets, but the weight you lose will be 3 times more likely to stay off. To improve your results in losing stubborn fat and to reduce estrogenic effects on your body, there are a few steps you must take to ensure your success. Your success depends on understanding how to detox your liver, eat foods that aid in reducing estrogen, and exercise. The Stubborn Fat Reduction Plan. On this Stubborn Fat Reduction Plan, you are going to consume as many anti-estrogenic foods as possible and eliminate as many estrogenic foods as you can. In addition to stimulating greater fat loss, this type of eating will also help to detoxify your liver. Without cleaning out the liver and reducing the chemical buildup, your liver becomes overburdened and your fat loss can hit the wall. There are a few stages in stubborn fat removal, so here we go. Overview of the plan. First and foremost, you must eat unprocessed foods such as fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts and seeds, and occasional wild salmon. This starts the detoxification of the liver as you eliminate all processed foods, grains, farm-fed livestock, and chemically altered foods. Try to eat as much organic food as possible. The base of your anti-stubborn fat plan is to consume an enormous amount of cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts, as these vegetables are very anti-estrogenic. Include citrus fruits such as grapefruit. The solution. oranges, and pineapple, because they have enzymes in cofactors that aid your body against radical damage and help your liver detoxify. Supplement your diet with omega-3 fatty acids from wild-caught salmon and flaxseed. You can also take an omega-3 fatty acid supplement such as Carlson's oil, available at www.mercola.com. Eating raw nuts and seeds, avocados, and olive oil also improves your body's function. In addition, eating green leafy vegetables, whole oats and barley, legumes, no soy, and spices such as turmeric, cancer fighter, milk thistle, liver detoxifier, dandelion root, natural diuretic, and ginger increases the loss of stubborn fat by decreasing estrogen in your body. There are many estrogen inhibitors that can help you decrease body fat quickly. According to Ori Hofmkeller, consuming these foods will greatly improve your ability to remove stubborn fat and decrease estrogenic effects. Hofmkeller says there are additional estrogenic inhibitors such as creatine, passion flower, apogene, chamomile, quercetin, onions, garlic. All of these cofactors can work together to detoxify your liver and get the stubborn fat off. To simplify, systemize, and organize this information, Hofmkeller developed an anti-estrogen, anti-stubborn fat program with 3 stages. Stage 1: Eat anti-estrogenic foods and estrogen inhibitors: cruciferous vegetables, passion flower, citrus fruits, chamomile flower, omega-3 oils, wild-catch salmon, organic dairy. Stage 2: Additional foods that promote anti-estrogenic hormones: raw nuts and seeds, avocados, olives and olive oil, rice germ oil, wheat germ oil. 12. Dave Gryzoffi. The solution. Stage 3: Foods that serve as cofactors and promote liver detoxification: green vegetables, spices, turmeric, oregano, thyme, rosemary, and sage, fruits, citrus, berries, apples, pineapple, whole oats and barley, legumes, no soy, herbs, dandelion root, ginger, alma berries, milk thistle. Note: this is an adaptation of a plan from my good friend Ori Hofmkeller, author of The Warrior Diet. Thanks, Ori. A 3-week plan outlined below is a simple plan that will produce good initial results in just 3 weeks. After this initial 3-week phase, you can then rotate the stages to get continued and even better results. You can also alternate the stages by the day after the first 3 weeks. Stage 1, 1 week detoxify your liver. Stage 2, 1 week high fat for fuel changeover. Stage 3, 1 week food reintroduction. For more information on how to set up a plan on a day-to-day basis, email me at david@flatmanyrabs.net. The importance of exercise. In addition to eating the proper anti-estrogenic foods to remove stubborn fat, it goes without saying that a crucial part of any program is exercise. Diet alone is not enough. Regular exercise is not only beneficial for fat loss, but also for your overall health. Exercise lowers body fat, blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol. You need to set some goals and plan to exercise on a continual basis. The solution. If you attempt to lose weight without exercise, you should expect only temporary success and to succumb to the rebound effect. This simply means that sooner or later you will eventually gain back the fat, which will be harder to remove the next time around. Increasing your activity level instead of using the diet-only approach. Emphasize the diet and exercise combination and focus on increasing your daily activity level overall. For more information on exercising more rather than just eating less, see my article, Movement Sufficiency, Not Calorie Deficiency. Here are a few quick and practical suggestions. Walk to the store instead of driving, go for a bike ride, walk upstairs in office buildings rather than using the elevator, and park your car at the end of the parking lot instead of looking for the front row spot. Take short walks during daily breaks or after you get home. Mow your lawn with the push mower, vacuum your carpets every other day, tidy up your backyard, basement, or garage, iron your clothes, wash your windows, and play with your kids. These activities are usually not looked at as exercise or workouts, but all such activity adds up at the end of the day, and it can work wonders as it accumulates over the long haul. Incorporating a formal exercise program naturally, of course, you should also have a more structured and formal exercise program to achieve maximum reductions in body fat. Even mowing your lawn has health benefits and burns some calories, but for really making inroads into reducing those stubborn fat stores, more intense and focused exercise is a must. A great type of routine for stubborn fat loss goals is a circuit training program. This style of training not only raises your metabolism, improves your cardiovascular ability, and increases strength, it is also time efficient. Put together a routine that uses large body parts such as legs, chest, back, and shoulders into groups and perform all of the exercises non-stop. You can also mix cardio interval training into your circuit workouts or in addition to your circuit workouts to increase the fat burning effect. A simple circuit program here is an example of an effective and time-efficient circuit program that can easily be performed at home with nothing but dumbbells and a Swiss ball. A1 Swiss ball squats, ball up against the wall. A2 dumbbell cleans, A3 dumbbell flies on a Swiss ball, A4 lunge, A5 dumbbell 3 matrix, side laterals, bent laterals, front laterals, A6 dumbbell row. Perform each exercise with perfect form for 6-8 reps and then get on your cardio equipment and go hard for 1-2 minutes. Rest about 90 seconds before repeating the circuit 2-3 more times, as your schedule and fitness level dictate. The real secret to stubborn fat loss: you can easily take 1 or 2 ideas from this series, put them to work, and immediately begin to see improvements in stubborn fat reduction. However, the real secret, if there is one, is putting all the pieces together into a comprehensive, healthy lifestyle overall. The lifestyle suggestions below may seem basic and general, but when combined with what you have learned in this article series, they will have a profound impact on your outcome. 1. Don't diet. Eat reasonably but do not starve or deprive yourself. Avoid yo-yo dieting. 2. Avoid empty calories and processed refined foods like sodas and sweets. 3. Eat many smaller meals. Eat light at every meal to keep your blood sugar steady and your metabolism stoked. The solution. 4. Eat healthy fat. Eat omega-3 fatty acids such as those found in salmon to promote proper hormone function and balance. 5. Eat a lot of vegetables, focusing on the cruciferous variety. 6. Drink lots of water. What can I say other than, without it, you will die. Drink ½ an ounce for every pound you weigh. 7. Get sufficient quality and quantity of sleep. 8. Keep stress to minimum. 9. Avoid excessive and chronic use of stimulants. 10. Exercise. Just a little increase in daily activities will go a long way toward improving your health. Add circuits and intervals to knock off the most stubborn fat. 11. Have a little fun. Find an exercise program you enjoy and stick to it. The solution. About David Grieseffi. David Grieseffi has been a sports enthusiast his entire life. His love for sports led him into a career in sports conditioning and fitness training. David majored in physical education and holds multiple certifications, including 3 from the prestigious Schoch Institute, Level A high performance exercise kinesiologist, golf biomechanic, and health and lifestyle counselor. He is also certified with the International Sports Sciences Association as a personal trainer and specialist in performance nutrition. David was a high school wrestling and baseball coach and is currently an independent trainer and strength coach. He has been sought after by some of the top athletes in professional sports, including world champion boxer Greg Hagen and professional golfer Michael Putnam. David's book, Firm and Flatten Your Abs, is an online bestseller that teaches you how to lose body fat, develop six-pack abs while improving strength, function, and athletic power. You can contact David or learn more about his programs at www.flattenyourabs.net. The solution. 18 Dave Grieseffi. Firm and Flatten Your Abs Book Review by Tom Venuto. By David Grieseffi. Abs. Abdominals. Your six-pack. The core muscles. No matter what you call them, everybody wants them. Whether you're training for sports, bodybuilding, or just to look good on the beach, whether you are male or female, young or old, it doesn't matter. There's not a single person who doesn't want a lean, tight, fat-free set of abs. The trouble is, getting great abs is not easy. Most people will waste years of effort and hundreds or even thousands of dollars on all the latest infomercial gadgets and diet gimmicks, trying in vain to obtain that ever-elusive lean, muscular six-pack stomach, with nothing to show for their efforts. If you want to save time and money, separate hype from truth, and bypass years of trial and error, then you must educate yourself in two critical areas: 1. Abdominal exercise, and 2. Fat-burning nutrition. You can't get great abs without both. That's where David Grieseffi's new ebook, Firm and Flatten Your Abs, 2nd edition, comes in. Firm and Flatten Your Abs goes beyond conventional crunch routines, and there's not a single sit-up in the entire book. Much of the program is based on developing a strong, powerful, injury-proof core. The core refers not just to the abdominal muscles, but your entire trunk musculature, including deep muscles you can't see, like the transversus abdominis, or TVA. Why should you care about muscles you can't even see? That's a question I would have asked many years ago in my early competitive bodybuilding days, when all I cared about was looking good on stage and having ripped six-pack abs, but now I've learned better. The answer is, among many other reasons, to stabilize the spine and eliminate lower back pain, which 80% of us will suffer from at some time in our lives. If you're an athlete, recreational or competitive, core strength means better performance on the playing field. If you're not an athlete, greater core strength means more efficient and safer performance of regular, day-to-day activities. If you know anyone who blew out their back lifting boxes or simply doing work around the house, you know what I'm talking about. I've had a copy of the first edition of Firm and Flatten Your Abs for a long time and was impressed with the variety and uniqueness of the exercises. However, this second edition really blew me away. The second edition has been completely revised, edited, and tripled in size from 60 to 180 pages. In fact, when I told David how much I enjoyed the new edition of his ebook, he asked me if I would write the foreword, and I gladly agreed. The exercise descriptions and ab workout routines are definitely the strong point of the book, and they have not changed at all from the first edition, with the exception of new exercises being added into the mix. Why change something that already works so well? You may be wondering exactly what's in the book, so here's a sneak preview. The foreword, written by me, Tom Venuto, explains the difference between training for form, looks, and training for function, strength and performance, and how it's possible to train for both, a revelation of extreme importance for the bodybuilder, the athlete, and weekend warrior alike. This sets the stage nicely for the rest of the book. The first chapter is a short introduction and welcome message from the author, David Grieseffi. The second chapter is called 15 Abdominal Myths. On David's website, www.flattenyourabs.net, he says, "This problem, misinformation, is so bad today, that my job of educating people has become like digging a trench in the sand with a sewing needle. Before I can even begin to teach the truth about getting muscular abs and losing fat, I have to unteach all the lies, myths, and rumors." That is exactly what David does in Chapter 2. The third chapter is Anatomy and Physiology of the Core. This chapter might seem a little dry to some people, but if you've never heard of the transversus abdominis, multifidus, or psoas muscles, then this is essential reading. The fourth chapter explains how to set up the perfect abdominal and core conditioning routine. Sets, reps, tempo, rest intervals, and everything else you need to know to put together a workout program that works is all there. The 5th chapter is the real heart of the program. The 7 levels of core and ab workout routines. It's not just the fact that you're given 7 routines instead of just one that makes this chapter so valuable, it's that each routine increases in difficulty step by step to accommodate increasing levels of fitness. The 6th chapter continues in the heart of the program with descriptions and photographs of more than 50 abdominal and core conditioning exercises. I can guarantee you that, unless you are a veteran exerciser or fitness professional, you have never seen the majority of these exercises before. If you are bored with crunches, sit-ups and leg raises, you are going to love this. The 7th chapter is called, Top 15 Nutrition Secrets to Flatten Your Abs. People who already have my Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle ebook will no doubt be familiar with most of the principles in Chapter 7. However, a brief tutorial on fat-burning nutrition is an absolute must in any good book about getting six-pack abs. Because, as the saying goes, abs are made in the kitchen, not just in the gym. The 8th chapter, Ask David, Q&A, is a real gem. This is the part of the book that has been expanded the most since the first edition. David gets thousands of questions by email every month, and he has taken the most frequently asked questions and compiled them right here in Chapter 8. The 9th and final chapter is a brief resource directory of recommended products and services. This includes online personal training, e-books, audio CDs, and equipment. So now you know what's in the e-book, but you also may be wondering about the exercises and whether you need any special equipment to do them. Good question, since not everyone wants to train in a health club. Many of David's exercises can be done with just your body weight. Others require a stability ball, Swiss ball, and a handful can be done with a cable apparatus you'd find in any gym. This means you can train at home or in a gym, whichever you prefer. So who will benefit from this ebook? Well, just about anybody. The information applies to you if you are overweight, if you suffer from lower back pain, if you are recovering from C-section, hernia, or abdominal surgery, if you're pregnant or post-pregnancy, if you're an athlete, or even if you're a bodybuilder like me. The principles in David's ebook are scientifically tested and proven. A graduate of the prestigious Schoch Institute with a total of 6 certifications, David has the credentials and has conducted the research to back up his claims. He spends every day in the trenches, practicing what he preaches as a personal trainer and strength coach for clients as diverse as housewives to professional boxers and golfers. In summary, Firm and Flatten Your Abs is a groundbreaking ebook because it is about form and function, not just form. Stated differently, David's program will help you develop abs that are every bit as strong and functional as they look. Why settle for a lean, attractive, and sexy waistline when you can have that as well as the strength, stamina, and injury-proof stability of a professional boxer, Greco-Roman wrestler, or a world-class gymnast? That is what separates David's program from the hundreds of other abdominal and core training books, DVDs and classes that clutter the fitness marketplace today. To order or get more information, click www.flattenyyourabs.net. David Gryzoffi, Schoch, CFT, PN Corrective Exercise Kinesiologist, Golf Biomechanic Nutrition and Lifestyle Coach. David at flattenyyourabs.net. www.flattenyyourabs.net